age, and it takes us through the life of two teenage girls by name Sophie and Agatha, who have been best friends since childhood. Now, Sophie is played by Sophia and Caruso, and then Agatha, or Aggie, played by Sophia Willie. We also have Lawrence Fishburne starring in there, and we also have Michelle Yeoh. It's quite a good movie, taking us through the life of these two teenage girls who live in a town called Galvadon. They've been so much obsessed with a whole lot of things, and in Sophie's own, we actually get a little bit of fuss that before her mother's demise, she told her she's actually meant for something extraordinary. So she's always had that in mind and had the faith and willingness to actually get it. Agatha, on the other hand, living with her mom, is just a normal girl who lives in Galvadon, but then people do call her a witch, which is so kind of not pleasing at all. Just calling someone a witch just because you are not in that kind of good relationship with her, it hurts. But then her mom always thought herself as one, yet she never had any abilities as a witch. But then before all this story unfolds, we are taken back into many years ago, whereby we have two brothers who actually possessed magic, Raphael and his brother. They actually set up the school which became known as the School for Good and Evil. One part of it being for good, where we have the princes and the princesses, and the other part being for evil, where we have the villains. They ruled the school side by side until Raphael actually got the urge to take everything for himself. He fought his brother, and then unfortunately for his brother, he was defeated and killed. But then he disguised himself as his brother for later means. Yeah, so time jump back to the normal Sophie and Agatha story. We actually take it through their life in Galvadon, whereby everybody doesn't seem to like them so much as well, even their step parents. Well, that's quite unfortunate for them, but then they've held each other close by heart, side by side. Their love for fairy tales and reading always made them get to know much about the larger world in a general, exploring certain things that they might have thought were fairy tales and myths, but then they realized are actually what? Real. It's a very good audio, seeing yourself with so much great potential and then yet trying to find a way to, materialize it was a good thing for them. Then they heard about the School for Good and Evil. It was always Sophie's wish to actually, experience some sort of extraordinary lifestyle. So she decided to give it a try. Writing a letter she didn't know actually manifested. Though they've heard a rumor that many years ago there was a girl from the village called Lenora who was actually taken to the School for Good and Evil. And her wish actually came through. But then unfortunately for Agatha, who didn't want to actually leave Galvadon, she's also taken along with her friend Sophie. Now upon arrival, Sophie had wanted to go to the School for Good, but then she ended up being in the School for Evil. And Agatha, who wanted no part of it, actually ended up in the School of Good. They both had to find ways to, get their lives back on track. Sophie was trying so much to actually be in the School for Good, but then Agatha always wanted out. This takes us into a life of adventures of the two friends. They explore the whole new side of the world together and realize that most of these things they've read in books and heard, which they thought to be fairy tales and myths, are actually real. A whole lot of them, the tales of Sinbad, Merlin, and all that, are actually real. Cinderella and the likes. Now, what had been the foe of the many was still around. Raphael. Everybody thought Raphael to be dead, but then Raphael was actually around. He wasn't dead. He had a bigger plan for himself at the end. All along, he was actually planning in the disguise of his brother to actually, have every power in the world for himself. And his plan was actually on point, having Sophie, kind of be able to use blood magic like he used it, and then a whole lot of things he did to help his agenda was a very excellent. No one could have actually thought of it that way. Kill your brother and then disguise yourself as him to make your plan flow accordingly was excellent. A whole lot of events unveiled. We get to hear a whole lot of other supernatural things. One of the dominants was the Excalibur, the sword of King Arthur, very dominant here. It was such a perfect addition they included. I love it. One thing I also love about it is the distinction they created between good and evil. Good had all these bright colors, the flowers so shine and bright. Evil cloaked in black with these smokes around was so perfect. I love some of the transitions in there, a whole lot of beautiful transitions from good to evil and then all that. It was excellent. And then the soundtracks used in the movie were so cool. Having Billie Eilish run through there, it was so perfect. All these things makes a very good feeling when you are watching this kind of a movie. Although I'm not so much into these types of movie, but then the School for Good and Evil had actually changed my whole notion about it. It's an excellent movie with great picture quality. Everything is on point, and I love it. Yeah. So you should check it out for yourself and let me know your general thoughts and impressions about the movie if you've seen it, and this video as well. So the life of the two friends still actually continues in the end, and then a whole new lot of good things end. But then I want you to check it out for yourself. Make sure you do subscribe if you haven't, and do leave a like till another time.